become more and more in control of everything around us, some big questions await.
Hello. Hey, everybody, social media family. Been any subscribers and as well as any visitors to that been on my own social media channel. I'm having trouble seeing me, aren't you? Because of bad lighting. Hold up, y'all. I'm try to remedy this best I can. Oh, that's not you, y'all.
Welcome to AutoZone. That's where we can help. Our free fix finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions verified by licensed technicians.
I would hope that would make things better. Does it make it better? I don't know. Maybe not. I think it did. More or less.
More viewpoints for this week. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to learn more about upcoming shows. And find a library of past programs on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Plus, you'll always find previous segments and more information about our guests.
Here somewhere. And you have to find what's my present place of residence. Oh, we better get a couple of you. How's that? Make things better. Everything looks kind of. But then, how are you all doing? Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay. It's not better yet to be said to be feeling all right. Or not best of all to be said to be feeling less stress. More less stress because less possible. Come and be stressed. You and your family, friend, hopefully me and mine. Likewise as well. Or all the same. Or whatever I've said. Please to excuse, pardon, or forgive me for possibly butchering the English language or the American dialect as we have it. As of the present moment time. On this sure day, as we have it. Of a hot summer day to be compared onto a cold winter day for another season. But then I woke up rather late today, and as it could possibly be because of a number of reasons for myself having done so, possibly a proverbial neighbor from hell or one of the public nuisances of problem neighbors, or somebody else for that matter. Yeah. Then you can't say that I'm not a workaholic when it comes to broadcasting. You know, hopefully just as much as certain other persons, regardless of race or walk of life. Like say, for example, these white persons out here, I'm going to show you. They're working like so on a garden. As you can see outside my window, there's still there. Yeah, check it out though. See down there? Well, there was more of some such, not just one white girl, or rather Caucasian woman. Yeah. You must give them credit where it is due. You know? I mean, they really put some time and effort, energy into going about the necessary business at hand to plant some of such seeds, regardless of it were to be up. And this is my fire escape. Outside my washroom. One time or another. It's pretty fine. Those matter now. Coming back. Then you see the boat in the lake. At one time or another, I noticed that my washroom window was unlocked all night. Spooked down hell out of it. As I get to think about this one proverbial neighbor from down hell, Jennifer Pullman's had it in for me for the longest, for as long as I can or could possibly remember or care to remember. The very same one that has me getting walking papers similar to an eviction notice, being of which he himself should have received, much rather instead of me, as I am a rather progressive, productive, and positive person. Okay.
Some people might have small missing patches in their scalp.
But then over different religious beliefs. The spiritual. Well, he flipped the script on me by having me get paperwork documents similar to an eviction notice, being of a non-renewal of apartment rental lease agreement, non-renewal of apartment rental agreement lease. That correspondence, a document paperwork that he should have received much rather instead. But your money was a I played the devil's game a lot with that sport. It's something that I haven't played in quite a while since the last time.
I hate to say it, but not normal, right? Like a bald woman walking down the street gets a lot of stares and gets a lot of questions about, do you have cancer? That's one that I get all the time. People asking me about my chemotherapy treatment, and then,
you can learn a lot from a dummy. The neighbor from down hell needs to seriously consider that.
Her condition wasn't always so extreme. Nero first noticed something was wrong while studying abroad in Spain when she was 21.
But anyway, regardless of say, and moving right along. Hold it thought.
I actually didn't know what it was at all.
Yes.
I pushed my head over to the side while
Oh
I was
my
my hair
God.
one day.
Oh God. Sorry about that. Well, still hear me, right? Try to continue the broadcast. Oh, I feel my soul burning. That's for the day. This is something that I'm not trying to make a practice for obvious reasons, purposes. My person never says so.
Great times of great, big Greg.
Which should prove to have become or be a no-brainer, as in self-explanatory. The same line of thought, and our sense of word. Because life is too short to be feeding into a bunch of negativity or negative content of nonsense, then which could prove to be a conflict of interest, regardless of it coming from something or someone or such a one or somebody else. Okay. Sorry about that. Brief disruption, interruption. I don't listen to anything and everything upon electronic frequency transmission of a device, be it for a radio or whatever else for that matter. And I don't watch anything and everything on TV, on the idiot box, aka television either. Anyway, I composed something much earlier so far as concerning that being the basic introduction and then the footnotes, and I had lost all that content for some reason or another, being which I had typed up, and very seldom would I want to, restart something that is, of nature being of an earlier broadcast. I had lost it for whatever reason, or that mishap or for that to have happened, you know, especially if it has suspicious activities to be complementing the actions of an obnoxious computer hacker, you know. Be one of the likes of a proverbial knave from damn hell moonlighting as one, as well as the likes of a character as that being of the dime a dozen. Public nuisance of problem neighbors could possibly moonlight as one of the likes of crank callers and our stalkers. Okay. Then anyway, though, this is not a subject matter or a topic of discussion to be debated in due regard in reference to the last mentioned, but rather this here present social media broadcast or video is to complement the name title of it. And so therefore, moving right along, as it is of a subject matter, a topic of discussion to be debated, of a given argument with the many different views and or opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing thereof, regarding or making reference to that of, you know, that one particular 80s incident, you know, when our own major metropolitan city within the Midwest of the continental United States of America had become subjected to experiencing a flood within the downtown vicinity area neighborhood community, being of the business and school hub of the city. And whereas one of the dailies being of a mayor at that given moment in time, it was seen like more than likely, more often than not, I could be wrong, and hopefully I am, had merely put a band-aid upon that particular social media social dilemma of a problem, social problem as it was, whereas businesses have had to close down as a result of those developments. Businesses and schools. Let's hold it though. Sorry about that, you. Yes, sorry about that, you all. Anyway, though, as I was saying, and I'll state for the record to your persons among yourself, being in my social media family of any subscribers, as well as any visitors to that being in my own immediate personal social media channel and or chat room or comment section. As I think of it, with that in my mind's intentions to try to backtrack here, reason purpose of being, or as I go on to following, to continue from where and when that my person had last left off, so I can finish up as a complete form previous prior line thought in that same sense of word. And whereas businesses and schools have had to close down as a result of developments of the flooding of the downtown vicinity area, neighborhood community as we have it within the city limits of metropolitan Chicago, Illinois, USA during some time in the 80s, you know. And whereas, I mean, I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but I suspect and I believe that, you know, the city may have to go about a major construction or reconstruction project. They may have to dig up that part of the city so that they can make much more proper repairs. And because it's no telling when that problem of an ugly monster could rear its head once again, you know, and no telling what could be down there, you know, like say, or how you say, talk about Mickey Mouse being at Mickey D's and BK, you know, rodents as big as tomcats or little puppy dogs to be compared on to the rodents within some such sister city to the Windy City, as we have it in Chicago being the city of the Big Apple, New York, whereas I had viewed social media broadcasts, you know, mainly or mostly YouTube at that given moment in time, whereas different male persons, Like say, black men and white men were holding up with protective gloves and other kind of, something to be considered as accessories to for their own personal safety of latex, from latex gloves to apparatus or equipment to hold the big old rodents or rats this long, looking like little dogs, hold them up like they caught the biggest fish yarn story that has become more reality than just a fantasy or fiction. Or hopefully nobody's fantasizing about eating a rat burger, a rodent burger. Be careful what you may be eating at Mickey D's or BK. You never know where you could possibly be eating something other. And this is a problem, getting back to vice versa. Whereas that major flooding within the city limits of metropolitan Chicago, Illinois, USA during the 80s, it flooded out more than quite a few businesses. Now, all they did was, I'm saying the construction workers, they filled in that hole with a bunch of mixture of concrete or cement. And I said, what? That ain't one of the, well, it was like one of the remedies that they had concocted to resolve that issue upon short notice. But you never know where it's, there could be needed more of major construction or reconstruction or whatever is down there. You just can't seal it because you never know. You could be like sealing up a gas pipeline. And before you know it, you could have explosions all over the city, You hear what I'm saying? So eventually they're going to have to go down in that part of the city where that water leak was, where a pipe had bursted because they hit a pipe. That's why they have the 3-digit numerical number of 811, so that before any construction worker were to begin digging, they would have to call that number to find out where is the infrastructure or pipes and so forth. I believe that monster could possibly be on the verge of rearing its ugly head, and if it does, no telling how it could complement a biological hazard. Water coming from God only knows what source, and could be like carrying a whole lot of different pollutants or contaminants, and just get me to thinking about, the different varieties or assortments of bottled water. Now, you don't know whether or not, some are such that bottled water could just be merely tap water, or this is one of the better or one of the best brands of bottled water that would be less likely to have become or be of a nature of just tap water that they're pouring into plastic bottles, and making themselves rich. And Dasani is one of the most polluted bottled waters by brand that there is. So don't buy Dasani water, you all. Don't make a purchase of that particular bottled water. Dasani. Dasani. I went to a local neighborhood community pharmaceutical business store to try to make a purchase of some of such bottled water, seeing how it's running out. And for this particular one, that's all they had was Dasani. So, well, mainly most when it comes to in bulk weight. So I had to just get some much smaller bottles of some of such other water brands that I would buy, Otherwise, ain't nowhere in the world I'm buying Dasani. Google it, you'll find out what bottled waters have more pollutants and what other bottled waters have less pollutants. But then getting back to the original topic of discussion or subject matter at hand, of a given argument with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing thereof, and disregard any neighbors from damn hell wacko jobs, or crazies, not to mention creeps, like this one in particular, disregard or ignore any neighbors from damn hell among the damn dozen public nuisances of problem neighbors, being of certain persons who have some of such rather severe mental disorders or serious mental problems that need to be rushed to a shrink's business office ASAP before they were to turn into even more severe, serious crackpots or cranks, not to mention creeps. But anyway, though, getting back to some such other. Sorry about that. This cord keeps dropping out of my laptop computer. Yeah. So, for some reason or another, I don't know. I mean, I woke up late and I get to thinking about this one particular social issue that happened back in the day. I'm like, wow. That's a social media broadcast or video in its own right. Maybe I should go ahead and compose, produce, and manufacture, get it on an assembly line to become a part of my collection of social media broadcast videos. And I said, by George, I think I will. Eureka! Get an epiphany. Like God was telling me to go about composing and producing this one here, for the benefit of one and all. Did you hear that? Mayor Lori Lightfoot, that dilemma problem back in the 80s when a water pipe had bursted and flooded the downtown vicinity area, neighborhood community, being the business and school hub of our fair American city within the USA as we have it, United States of America. Man, I mean, hopefully nobody sleep that one again, become so blind whereas they cannot see the possible and a potential biological health hazard to that argument, because that would be rather stupid and sick to ignore the possibilities. That would be rather chaotic or chaos or mayhem to be considered a futuristic scenario of events that could be in play. Whereas if I were mayor of a great metropolitan city as we have it, and forgive me for butchering the English language or the American dialect as we have it, but then unless you're going to become or be someone or such a one that's going to submit to me an English 101 study plan course, then you need not even open up your mouth, if you mean to reprimand me for my rather improper usages of the English language, American dialect at times compared to other times. But then getting back to some of such other, being other original subject matter or topic of discussion of given argument to be debated with the many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing there. I mean, after all, I never promised you all that I would give you per verbatim proper English grammar. I never claimed to have become or be an English major or English professor. But anyway, getting back to some of such other, another line of thought, original topic of discussion, or of this particular subject matter at the present. And so, one of the dailies could have possibly just put a band-aid on that particular social dilemma problem of possible and potential failing infrastructure so far as the pipe work of the city, and then there is to be considered that of the electrical grid of the city, whereas most recently, within the last few days, there was a blackout within the neighborhood community here, but it was an hour, Then I see that my live stream is acting up, and I may have to close out shortly. I think I'll just do that, but I just thought to bring that to you all's attention as it was being placed on my heart and mind to speak upon some such matters. And as you all know, I will give an intro to any social media broadcast or video, and then there's the footnotes to accompany some such, and then I will get to speaking upon a content matter, regardless of whether or not I were to speak upon a couple few or more or just one. And then last but not least, I will give the conclusion of the matter. And if I were to speak per verbatim, exact quote, or paraphrase by saying, if you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I will hope that you all would think to do so now, while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing and realizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross, Calvary, and hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of some sort of Roman soldiers upon the orders of their superiors, being from militarist, political to religious, from centurions to Caesars to religious Pharisees, Sadducees, etc. But then, nevertheless, ways he went to the cross of Calvary to become the perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me, so that if any of us, being of whatsoever race and whatever walks of life, faction of society, lifestyle preferences, being of the old and young, like both two sexual genders, of males and females, representing not only the human species global community within this post 911 era of our new millennium apocalyptic day and age, where the doomsday clock is now at a few minutes to midnight, compared on how formed prior to then was a quarter midnight, where these biblically prophetic time, word to profess some such faith in them. From there we become and be blessed in one God another, and more ways than one. First and foremost, with his salvation, being of which is the only means by which any of us can or could possibly become or be citizens of the kingdom of heaven. A much greater democracy than East Side and West. I suspect the USA could possibly be becoming more like the Democratic Republic or democracy of Russia. USSR. Whereas if any of us were to profess faith in our Lord and Savior Christ, the Messiah, deliverer, then we become and be blessed in one God, none more ways one. First and foremost, with his salvation being which is the only means by which any of us can or could possibly become citizens of the kingdom of heaven. The second of all, with his deliverance. But first, you have got to get his salvation, otherwise you have nothing coming so far as blessings is concerned. Your final destination, if you make that transition for the great beyond the hereafter, the afterlife, without his blood sacrifice, being of that fire insurance for the lake of fire, damn hell, then that's where you will end up with the rest of the wind up, or whatever I have said, after your clock were to stop ticking, among other unsaved, unrepentant, lost, damned human souls of unbelievers and non-believers, to be tortured and terrorized by the devil and the demons forever, for all eternity, compared to how we as believers in God will be across that great divide that separates heaven from hell, as citizens of the kingdom of heaven, in the company of like-minded believers in the presence of God and his angels, because God is not to be mocked. What you sow is what you shall reap, And don't say I didn't warn you. I don't care what Oprah Winfrey says, or anybody else for that matter, talking about all roads lead to heaven. All roads do not lead to heaven. And whereas the late supposed so-called Reverend Billy Graham had began to believe that lie coming from Oprah Winfrey, Yeah, good with it. Because all roads may lead to Rome, Italy in this world, but it don't lead to heaven in the next world. Better recognize and realize, don't believe the hype. Anyway, though, you all take care and be safe, be blessed, not stressed, peace, love, and joy, and happiness. If you don't have Christ's salvation, hopefully you will get it now before it becomes too late. And I cannot, before it becomes too late for you to do so, and I cannot say when I'm going to broadcast again. It all depends. I'm still going through the final stages of development to secure another place to rent an apartment for myself after having been kicked out of this one due to a lie that the management of the building believed coming from this neighbor from hell, than to believe the fact of the matter I was telling about him. You all take care and be safe. Peace and love, joy, and happiness. We're out. Peace.